Ladies and gentlemen, will the Pies for a second year running look to secure a key position forward in the national draft? It's time to talk all things black and white. Ladies and gents, this video is proudly sponsored by TSNL Neon, Melbourne's trusted signage specialist for commercial LED and neon signage. They are family owned. They service all of Victoria. Link is in the description for their website. That's tslsigns.com. Now, leaning into this series we're going through with regards to looking at potential draftees, what we're doing right now is putting ourselves in the perspective of the Collingwood recruiters and saying, all right, well, if there's players mid to late second round, early third round, which is where our picks will fall, and it's all contingent on where Zach McCarthy goes as well, because that will eat up some of our draft capital. Those players in that range we're looking at and looking at players specifically based on need, not necessarily best available. So the next player we're talking about is Liam Heatherton. And just before we get into that, guys, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. If you don't, you might just get Matt Rowd. And nobody likes getting Matt Rowd, ask Nick Dacos. Okay, so appreciate you. Liam Heatherton, so let's share the screen. Rookie Me Central doing God's work as well, by the way. A bunch of people are doing God's work when it comes to draft footy stuff. Rookie Me Central, Zero Hanger. It helps us get some idea. You know, I'm not coming out as the expert. I'm far from it. I watch a couple videos of some of these kids outside of the academies and father sons that we've spoken about. I've watched them to a great level, but I haven't watched these other prospective draftees that Collingwood might look at securing. So I'm just someone considered like yourself, where I'm just trying to learn a little bit about who's available in our draft range, okay? Liam Heatherton is one that represents the Murray Bush Rangers, played with the Whitlock brothers and Joe Berry and Josh Murphy last year, and was set to take the league by storm, the Coates Talent League by storm this year, and hopefully win the goal kicking count. Unfortunately, after 3 games, he sustained a stress fracture to his back, which has thrown his draft stocks not out of calculations, but it's sort of just thrown it off. The meter is off. So if we want to just put a number on it, like he's looking at a 40 to 60 range in the draft selection. And that's largely probably to do with the fact that there's limited footage and resources to consider in Liam Heatherton's top age year at the Murray Bush Rangers. So what do we have to work with Liam Heatherton? So in 2024, he played 9 games, kicked 7 goals, so not too bad as a bottom age year. I was selected for the AFL Academy in 2025, and then in his 3 games, he managed to kick 11 goals and found a bit of the footy. 13 disposals as a forward, young, tall forward is pretty impressive. Now, I will share some highlights as we talk, so you can get an idea of what we're dealing with. He's quite a large specimen, tall, 198 is genuine key size. But just watching some of his highlights, guys, what have I noticed? I mean, he's very raw. And as a tall prospective draftee, you're going to get that with a lot of these taller players. You're going to see a lot of holes in their game, but you look to lean on the really strong qualities in their game. And it's said to be his aerial capacity, the way he manipulates the contest is important. He is competitive and can find the footy and has a nous for where the goals are. But I'm seeing a lot, just from the videos I've watched, and the preface always goes, guys, as the following. I've only watched 2 or 3 games, highlight packages, if you want to call it that. So I'm just trying to gather as much information as possible without spending 8 hours of my day trying to figure out whether this guy's draftable or not. But there's things to like, obviously. Very competitive, kicked 11 goals in 3 games in the Coates Talent League before sustaining that injury. So it's a bit of a, I guess you want to call it maybe a potential Moneyball pick with one of our later picks. I'm not saying pick 39, pick 45. I'm saying, what have we got here? If we actually just go to the list management side of things, we have 56 and 61 that will come in as well. So if he's not off the draft table, why can't we use some of these ladder picks for someone like Heatherton? And it's one of those gambles. Do we want to take a gamble on a key forward who, yes, is quite raw, but has a lot of potential upside? And because he missed his draft year, his top age year, you have the opportunity to say, okay, well, what if this guy, he could have kicked 30-40 in the Coach Talent League and destroyed the national championships, but because of his back injury, that didn't happen. And I know that's you should be wise enough not to gamble on the what ifs, but looking at his bottom age year, there was a lot of hype around this guy, and with the invitation to be a part of the AFL Academy and everything else built around those sort of high accolades in your junior years, I think that says something about this type of key position forward. So we'll continue with some of the highlights and give you guys more of an idea. But this YouTube channel as well, by the way, footy stuff, really handy if you want to look at potential draftees. This is another good resource that I use pretty much on a daily basis right now. But just watching this game against Northern Territory, who aren't a strong side, there were a lot of opportunities, like in this instance for Liam Heatherton, and you just feel there's a bit of sloppiness here. Playing on a shorter guy, like maybe he should be winning a lot of these contests. You can see there's a bit of a height discrepancy there. You guys can't see the highlights. I'll have to refresh this, guys. I do apologize. Bear with. I don't know why it's freezing like that, but if we go back, like we're seeing contests like this here, where you'd like to, if you, I'm trying to compare this guy. Maybe I'm doing it in the wrong way. I'm looking at him against players like the Whitlocks. I'm looking at players like Jonty Fall and Job Shanahan from West Coast and Charlie Nichols, who's yet to play a game for Fremantle. It felt like there was a lot more to like compared to someone like a Liam Heatherton. I'm mindful that this draft isn't as strong as last year, so you have to take that with a grain of salt and be reasonable with the way we're measuring these players and who we're measuring them up against. But this is potentially a player that Colin would like to gamble on and build and bring up with the likes of Noah Howes and Charlie West and Big Roo and whoever else they want to work with. Jack Buller is going to be one of them as well. So it would be a pretty surprising move based on our history in our draft acquisitions to see us. I mean, that's nice. I mean, it just doesn't get the registration. Like, that was really nice, but the final product was missing, and you see that a bit with Heatherton. But yeah, very competitive. He's always trying to take the game on, as you can see here. Very, very scruffy, if I could describe him in one word from what I've seen. But yeah, to come up with potential Buller, West, Howes, and to select the multiple key position players in back-to-back years would be essentially setting the tone for what Leper and Shane O'Brewer are looking for in the national draft, where in years gone by, you'd hardly draft a key position player, let alone a key position forward player. Like, obviously, you've got Charlie West, who's 6'3", 6'4", but Joel Cochran, 6'6". Okay, you're starting to do well there, or you're starting to acknowledge key position players in the national draft a little more. Just the competitive nature, as I've mentioned, you see that there again with Heatherton. I think now would be a nice time to maybe draft another one, bring him up with other players that are his size now in his similar position at the club. How does he go here? Misses that as well. So very raw. I keep saying it. I've watched 3 or 4 games of highlights from Heatherton now, and to surmise what I've seen, he competes really hard. Probably needs to be taking a little bit more. Competes at ground level. And just a little bit sloppy, but there seems to be a lot of upside, guys. There is a lot of hype around the guy's name, and if he hadn't sustained that back injury, it seems like he would be much higher up on the draft table than where he is right now, predicted to go at somewhere between 40 and 60. So, I don't know. It's once again, it's always hard to make an assessment based on limited footage and limited time to consider and limited games played in 2025. But all I want to do, the goal with these videos, guys, is just to give you a name, give you a height, give you a player, a club they played for, and what their draft potential range is, and then go from there. We can start the conversation. We've still got a month, or November 20th is when the draft is set to commence. So at the very least, I want to start a conversation with these types of videos. I'm not saying draft him. I'm not saying don't draft him. I'm saying, hey, here's a guy that maybe we will consider. Anyways, I appreciate you all, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, go Pies.